Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. So we've got a special trailer sitting behind us here. This is going to be one of our many Cimarrons on display at the 2025 National Western Stock Show in Denver, Colorado coming up. So again, this one's going to be a display trailer, so we really wanted to bring you some cool concepts, some cool options to take a look at. This is a 2025 Cimarron Lonestar air ride 30-foot trailer. So over the years, we've typically gone in with an air ride steer walt. We've had a lot of interest in these kind of straight stock trailers with a lot of loaded up options. So we felt like, hey, this is a good year. Let's go ahead and bring you one of these. And this one here doesn't disappoint. It's got a lot of cool features on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing, show you some specs on it. First and foremost, we're 30 foot on the floor. We're 8 foot wide. We're 6'8" tall. We went a little bit taller than our standard 6'4s. Some guys have been asking for that, especially on these. So we went ahead and just made it a touch taller here. But it's got a unique setup to it. And again, it's got a lot of cool features to it. So let's start walking you through it. First and foremost, with the Cimarron, you're all aluminum construction. You have an 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty on this trailer, so they really stand behind the product themselves. But let's just start looking at this and some of the things we did to this trailer. First and foremost, right here, looking at the nose. As you notice, we did a V-nose profile on this rather than the standard taper. This guy, especially with these V-noses and air ride, they pull so well. I mean, it really is amazing. Even with an 8-wide box, this trailer pulls phenomenally well because of that actual V-nose. You know, Cimarron doesn't come to an abrupt point on these that a lot of other manufacturers will do, where they really bring it to that, again, that really close point. This has got a little bit more radius to it, so it actually has quite a bit of storage that we'll show you when we get into the actual, that area inside the stall area and looking up into that nose when we get inside here in a little bit. But again, 8 wide with a longer nose. Cimarrons actually have an 8.2 nose, so a little bit longer than a lot of the standards out there. So there's still quite a bit of storage space there. You're going to have a rated for 25,000 pounds B&W coupler on this guy. Really, it has a lot of ability to adjust to really make sure this trailer is running good and level for you. Whether you're pulling with a pickup, sometimes a hauler on some of these bigger trailers, so it allows you to get that up in there, making sure this guy is running nice and level. So a 30-foot cattle trailer, livestock trailer, you know, it has the potential to put a lot of stuff on it, making it a little bit heavier. So we went ahead and did the electric over hydraulic equalizer jack. Has the manual override, so in emergency situations you could get this on or off. But boy, is it nice to push a button, up, down it goes. So if you leave some, you know, equipment on here, you need to unhook, it's nice to push a button, up and down it goes. Maybe you travel some younger juniors as they're, you know, maybe guiding you up and you're hooking up. You can just keep your foot on the brake, they push a button and it drops right down rather than having to crank. But with it, you're going to get the aluminum battery box. You're also going to get a battery disconnect with this guy. So when you go to park this trailer and leave it, you can actually reach up there, turn that guy to the off position, it'll kill all power to it. You're going to get the 12-volt battery with it. This became standard shortly after the 25 model started coming out. This is a RedArc charger. So this charger here will actually really keep this battery nice and full, giving a lot more life and longevity to it. I always say that this is more of like a supercharger than just your truck that works as like a trickle charger. It'll also tell us if power is coming in. It'll also protect from issues going back to the truck, you know, blowing fuses, those type items there. So that switch is right up here. So again, it's really easy to just push a button, up, down it goes. We also put a light right up here for you because, you know, granted this is a V-nose, not as big of a deal, but you know, our cargo light on the back of our cab kind of gets blocked by the noses of these. If you get in a situation where you need to work back here, you hit this light, maybe you have the unfortunate issue where you got to get the spare off. You get a little bit of light coverage, you need to work back here on something, you can. The other thing over here is, right here is our air ride actual box itself. So it's a self-contained compressor, really easy to operate. On, off, lower, raise, and when we're done, we want to clear the lines because air can create condensation, freeze, crack, have issues with lines. So We've done some how-to videos on how to operate it, how to shut it down, very condensed versions we can send to you. But this, we're gonna circle back around to the air ride and what it does for what we're hauling on this trailer here in a little bit. Underneath the gooseneck, we went ahead and got you a couple fold-up aluminum covers to get us some air. So you have these air gaps underneath. So if you want to get a little bit more airflow as you're traveling, you can flip those guys up. They're just on a gas shock. If you need to shut it down, colder weather, something like that, it's really easy to just grab and shut those guys just like that. So again, here's a good look at the side. You're gonna get that little bit longer nose. Now, I want you to pay attention. This one here, we did the polished stainless sheets on this guy, so it's gonna have it up here on the actual nose itself and then dropping down a little bit on that kind of gooseneck drop wall area, and then also the ramp. So we'll get it shut up as we kind of walk through this so you can get a really good look at that. But this is where this trailer really gets cool and interesting. So over the years, we've done a lot of dirty tacks is what we call it. So we flip that access gate from driver's side over here to passenger side, and then we shift the ramp back. And the reason why we shift it back is now, look, if you need 30 foot of livestock space, you got it. But if you're looking for something, hey, I want that capability, but also I'm gonna use this to show off of, I want some tack space potentially. You've got that front that you can actually use as a, again, quote unquote, dirty tack, because we're actually gonna use the traveling gates rather than a solid partition wall. But in this instance here, you can still access it in there, and then we go into the side ramp. The other thing too is a lot of feedback from customers that either have a front tack room or have the ramp, like in this instance on a stock trailer where it's right up against that gooseneck drop wall, is those calves in that very first stall do not get a lot of airflow because the ramp has to be solid. So you don't get that airflow, you know, in that front kind of compartment area, to where when we shift it back, it allows us to have those air gaps at the front of the trailer. Look, we're going in a forward motion, so air is gonna travel. If we can get it in, it'll work its way back. So the concept completely makes sense. So in this instance here, we set this ramp back. So we have an access point going in here. We'll just make our way in. We did the gate over this ramp, so it's the full gate, just a couple inches from the top. So if you need to, you know, drop this down, you have calves loose in here, something like that, and you can drop the ramp, have that gate open, and then you can work on or off. Or if you're showing off this trailer and you want the capability to just kind of open it up and get a little bit more airflow, turn calves loose, you've got that capability in here. So then as we come in, right now I've got one of our gates. So again, we've got two traveling gates on this guy. We run it almost clear to the back, so you have a lot of flexibility with these two gates. This first one I want to show you is not tapered or cut for, you know, notch for our wheel wells. So this gate here is going to kind of travel from our wheel wells forward, but I've got the capability to roll this gate behind the side ramp. There's a couple locations between the ramp and the actual access gate coming in from the side, or I can roll both of them clear up to the front and put them on the partition wall. So again, ton of flexibility with this to be able to have, you know, 3 compartments, 2 compartments, 1 big one, whatever you want, manipulate the sizes all you want. Maybe you're going with a cow-calf pair, you want to separate them. You got a bull you need to keep separated. Maybe, you know, some breds, younger calves, whatever you need to. Again, you got a lot of flexibility. So we did no threshold gates, so the calves don't have to worry about stepping over anything. And then we did the airflow kind of jail bar style gates on this. So again, a lot more airflow in these versus the old style where this extrusion would come up and we'd have just, you know, maybe a couple little air gaps, but you have a lot more on this guy here. But then, like in this instance, you could use this as a kind of a front tack room, or put a couple calves up here, maybe put, you know, your pairs up here, whatever you want. Bred heifer, give her some ability to lay down, bull, whatever you need to. Again, a lot of flexibility, but if you're using it for that dirty tack, you can access it through that, you know, access gate on the side. We also put some head pads on these for you. I know our cameraman really appreciates that now and then on these kind of lower profile trailers, but we did head pads on the ramps and then this access gate here. But then up in the nose, here's a good look. I'll shut this here in a minute, but as you can see, there is a ton of space because it's 8 foot wide, and then that depth on there. So there's a lot of storage. We lined it with the aluminum kind of tread bright up there. We have to protect those stainless sheets on the outside to where if it was like white sheeting, black sheeting, charcoal, whatever it is, we don't necessarily have to do this. But on those sheets, the polish, we need to, because if you ding something from the inside, you'll see that ding from 100 yards away on the stainless from the outside. So we need to protect it, so it's lined on the inside here. Over there to the right is going to be a tray for our plexiglass. So we can take plexiglass out on this trailer, set it up there. It's got a place to store and stay. We wanted to give you a couple lights up there with that diamond plate. You know, it really bounces off, so you have a ton of light actually up here in the nose as well. And then we put this gray rubber floor mat that we do on a lot of our tack rooms on the floor itself, but we do it on the deck and some of the drop walls at times as on these trailers. This stuff is really durable, really stout. You know, if you throw shavings or something like that up there, you don't have to worry it getting embedded in that actual carpet or anything like that. To hop up in there if you need to, we just did a fold down cleat there in the middle. And then this guy here is completely sealed off. So it's just a big door, and it does have the capability to lock. So you can throw some items up in there and lock them in place there. But just trying to give it, you know, completely sealed off for the animals, keeping them nice and safe. Also give you that storage capability there. You need to lock something up, you can. Couple roof vents here. We did them throughout the trailer, but we start right here at this gooseneck drop wall. So again, we can get that airflow force back to the calves. Again, you're gonna have those fold up air gaps underneath to get a little bit more airflow into this trailer as well. You're gonna notice that we incorporated a lot of lights through it. So these OptiBright LED lights throughout, that is now standard on Cimarrons. Over the years, that was a light that we always tried to put on our trailers, with exception of if availability. If they weren't available, we had to go with a different LED, but we prefer these OptiBrights. They put out a ton of light, not a big power draw. We're big fans of them. We actually did on the side ramps when you come in and out of this trailer, we did a couple switches here for you. So if you're just coming into the side of the trailer, you can actually turn these lights on from right here. So lights on the side of the trailer and then also in the stall area itself. And then as we work backwards from there, here's our second traveling gate. So you'll notice on this one, same thing, no threshold, 48-inch swing, jail bar style. These gates swing both ways. Over the years, we've looked and talked about where we hinge, and our thought process flipped from traditional style stock trailers where the gates usually are fixed and hinged on this side, swing out of the way. We're loading a lot more cattle and unloading off the side. So it made more sense to actually have these hinged on left-hand side. It's easier to actually lead the calves on and off the trailer by having them over here. So that's why we hinged both of them this direction. And then again, there's that notch. So this gate here is the one that really will travel, you know, where these wheel wells are. The wheel wells are tapered, so they're tapered at the front, tapered up. So try to avoid any of those, you know, 90-degree angles, anything like that, sharp corners that we just don't want to mess with. Just trying to keep everybody nice and safe. You have a tie rail high and low. So one low, one right there above that second air gap. Tie calves heads up on them, tie them down, give them that capability. These gates, as they travel, you can lock on every single post. And then as you get to the larger posts where it's maybe around like the ramp door frame, wheel well, you're gonna see these notches with this heavy UHMW plastic paddle. They will actually lock into there as well. But these gates are so easy to move. As long as you're in the middle of them, you have to have the gate shut just for balance purposes. But you know, there is no doubt about it that with younger juniors, anybody like that can just be in the middle here, you know, slide these where you need them to, lock them into place. I also love the fact that they come off the ceiling itself, the track. So when you put bedding down, you can actually manipulate the gate forward or backwards if you need to kind of work around some of that. So again, really easy to operate, a lot of flexibility on what you can do with this trailer. And as far as these gates, setting them up from different either stall sizes, again, the dirty tack type setups, anything along those lines there. So on the floor, on this guy here, this is where, you know, when you're building a trailer, you're building anything, you know, these are custom built trailers. This is the best floor on the market. So what you have is a 12-inch deck piece. It's extruded, so it's an actually extruded deck piece that is built. It's high and low, tongue and groove. So it's 2 points of locking, where 1 point has the ability to have a little bit more flex for you. If it's just one, it can go up and down. But if you have two, high and low, it doesn't allow that. But you have a V-truss in the middle and 4-inch centers. So wherever you have a calf standing on this floor, they're standing on a support beam. Again, industry's best floor. You start off with the best foundation. That's what, whenever you're building a, you know, house or anything like that, that's what you have to start with, and that's what you have with the Cimarron. And then from there, we topped it off with Werm flooring. We did a gray and black mix on this one here, but Werm flooring is fantastic stuff. It's permanent, it's unpenetrable. You know, we don't have to worry about urine getting down there. You just kind of muck it out, nose it up a little bit, and hop through that escape door of the power washer, and out you go. So definitely a nice feature there, big time upgrade, rather than rubber mats that you have to pull, or even just leaving bare aluminum that you have to bed down. So then when you flip to the other side, I know we talked about roof vents, but this roof. So this is standard on every single Cimarron. What's fantastic about it is what it does for temperature control for our cattle, keeping it so much cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. I know heat rises, but you know, this is a low profile trailer. We don't have to worry about it as much because of how much cooler it will keep this. It's got an R3 thermal value. It's a 1/2 inch thick. It's a reinforced honeycomb design. I can walk on the roof. It will not dent it. So it takes substantial hail as well. But when we talk about keeping calves cool as we're traveling, it makes a big, big difference. You know, I love these really cool frosty mornings because you can actually see as the sun comes up the side rails, because you know the top rail is actually aluminum. That sun hits it and it'll conduct that. Well, that'll be melted off, and you peek up on the top side of these roofs and it'll still have that frost. I mean, it keeps it very well insulated in here. And again, if we're traveling to shows and we're working, you know, typically we're parked on asphalt, it'll get really hot and we'll have an easy up tent sitting outside. When it gets really hot in the day, we'll find ourselves in the trailer because it's actually cooler to sit in there than it is just even underneath that tent. So it does make a big difference, and it's such a nice feature to have on these Cimarrons by actually having that insulated roof. As we make our way out, you'll notice on the top rail that we did a ton of marker lights on this guy here. We really wanted to dress this trailer up, and it really does. It looks fantastic by having all those marker lights actually on the trailer itself. We did 16-inch awning lights. We did 3 of them. So we did one above this access gate here, kind of one about just ahead of the axles, and then one above that ramp at the back there. I'll go ahead and shut this one. We can start appreciating the stainless sheets on this guy. But then as we work back, so you got your 3 air gaps with plexiglass. The tracks are built in all these stock trailers, but the largest piece is going to be a 4-foot section. So it's typically that notch right in the middle to the front section is 4 foot. So you can take out these sections, they're manageable. But in this instance here on these type of trailers, we got a lot of brakes in this. You need to kind of keep track of this plexiglass. It will save you a lot of time and hassle if you know where it goes. The best way to explain it to you is it's a puzzle that you don't see the picture to, so you got to figure it out. So if I was taking the plexiglass out on this, you saw this storage tray up there, get yourself a roll of masking tape, painter's tape. You know, something's not going to leave a real sticky residue in a Sharpie. And I would take out lower passenger side, tape it all together, write that on there. Do the same for the, you know, you know, upper air gap, you know, middle air gap, lower large, whatever you want to, but keep track of these, because again, it'll save you a lot of time and hassle when you go to put them back in this trailer. But if you want to open it up, got a lot more airflow, you can do that. You got your lower air gap, get that air movement down to the chest floor of the calves. That's our radiator. Let's keep them nice and cool. You've got that. Amber marker light on these bigger trailers, 8 foot wide. We like putting those guys on there just because it will indicate for turn signals, brakes, but also works as a great marker light. It's a big marker light for you just to kind of keep tabs on where you're kind of at. So we did a spread axle on this guy. Spread axles become very popular. It's a 12-inch spread on this guy. It really helps the way this trailer pulls. It also takes away some tongue weight. So we have two 8,000-pound axles underneath here, 17.5-inch SRW mod wheels, and then Continental 18-ply tires. So really good running gear underneath here. Electric brakes, so you'll need your integrated brake controller or an aftermarket if you need help with that. Our parts and service department can help you there. But again, air ride. This trailer's aired down. So if I air it up, it's going to pick it up about 2.5 inches. So it'll actually raise the trailer. I recommend the customers loading equipment, loading, unloading calves, go ahead and lower it, because it makes these ramps not as steep because the box is lower to the ground. When you pick it up, it makes it a lot steeper, harder, you know, I mean, just more work for the calves coming on and off. But this air ride system is fantastic. It's a rubber torsion axle with a shock kit. So it's the Airflex system by Dexter. They've done a great job. We have a ton of customers pulling with this type of system. They absolutely love it. With that setup, if something does happen to your compressor line, a bag, it'll set down exactly as it's sitting right now on those rubber torsion axles, and you can get where you need to. The old styles, you couldn't move these trailers. You were stuck. Again, couldn't move it. But in this instance here, I can go to where I need to. But if you want to talk about well worth the money, I know it's an upgrade, and I know it's not cheap, but the amount of miles you're going to pull, the amount of shows you're going to go to, and the investment you have in these calves and the time with them that you're going to put on this trailer, it is giving them every opportunity to step off this trailer feeling fresh, ready to go and compete at the highest level. A lot of customers will say they can actually peel a day off of lead time on really long trips because of how fresh the calves step off the trailer itself. They'll lay down like they're in the barn, but that's less time for you on the road, away from home, labor, hotels, etc., etc. You'll pay for this air ride over time. But again, the calves love the ride of this trailer. Again, they'll lay down. You put that spread as well in there, that'll just allows that ride to be even that much better. And it does give it a cool look to the trailer, something a little bit different. But again, more tongue weight off, but such an incredible ride. The most common response we hear from customers that have air ride trailers is they will never own another one without it. That's how much they believe in it. So with this one here, we did a ramp behind the axles. So you have a second access point as far as a ramp with this trailer. Look, sometimes some customers want their tack at the back. Sometimes they want it in front, sometimes they want it at the back. Well, now you have flexibility to that. So if you have more tack up there, you have that middle compartment you need to put some calves into. I need to be able to access here as well, or I have the tack back here. You can use this ramp to load your tack and then keep your calves up ahead of the axles. The best part of a ride for anybody is on the axles or ahead. You get a little bit more bounce behind it. Now, air ride substantially helps that whole process, but if you wanted to, again, you can use this as tack or loading, unloading calves. Because again, I can roll these gates where I want them to. I can roll that gate and I can set it right here at the back of the wheel wells. There's that spot in the notch, again, where that frame is for the actual wheel well itself. So I can roll it back here and have this section just for tack if I want, or again, load some calves back here. This is a 36-inch wide sliding gate here. The reason why 36 inches is just because we have the 8-foot wide box. We have the capability to get this open a little bit more, keep the hardware out of the opening. So maybe you're butting up against somebody, you need to bounce them across an alleyway or another trailer, and you're going across big bred heifers, bulls, anything like that, we want this a little bit wider. Well, what's this over here? So what we did is we thought, okay, if this is potentially a rear tack for you, we put this airliner track on the back gate here with these big utility hooks. These are aluminum powder coated. But if I want these gone, all I have to do is, you know, loosen these nuts up and I can take it off. But if I wanted to hang, you know, big cords, big hoses, anything like that, I can actually hang them right here, or again, take it off and they're out of the way. But just trying to give you a lot of flexibility and a lot of options on this trailer. I think we did a good job on it. As we leave, you're gonna again head pad here, head pads at the back gate as well, but then some additional switches again for your lights. So as you come on and off the trailer, you've got the capability to have that light and turn on those lights anywhere you want. So now as we get to the back, there again, there's a good look at that 36-inch wide sliding gate. And then again, it's got your traditional swing gate as well. And then here at the back, these are the additional switches if you need to. So like we've got a couple 16-inch awning lights here at the back, shoot down and out. And then we've got some on this driver's side so we can turn them all on, you know, individually. I can manipulate where I want light on or off based on the individual switch itself. Then on these rear tail lights here, you know, we were putting so many backup lights on these trailers because, you know, our truck backup lights are a long ways away. This is a 30-foot on the floor trailer. They're worthless at that point. But back here, what we've got is on these back tail lights, there's that built-in backup light right here for you. And again, we were just doing one, and the best way I can explain it is imagine taking a flashlight, putting it right up against this trailer, really bright in that one area. Well, with this, having an all-4 here, if I go back with that light, maybe it's not as bright in one particular area, but I've got really good light coverage. You will be backing into places unfamiliar in the dark, getting home late at night. You want to be able to see. So throw it in reverse, and then those guys will turn on there. Now, as you get over here to driver's side, same thing we saw on passenger side. 3 16-inch awning lights on the top rail. So one towards the back, one towards the middle, and one towards the front. So again, you have that light coverage, and then there's a good look at all those button marker lights. Again, it really dresses the trailer up and looks really cool at night when you have this guy all lit up. The other thing you're gonna have is, over here we did low and high tie rails. So lower tie rail, upper tie rail. So if you need to tie off, you know, you got tie outs, so you're actually gonna tie to the actual trailer itself. You've got the capability to go ahead and tie your calves there. Again, you know, you have the plexiglass, but these are really long sections here. So again, compared to that other side, it's really important to kind of keep tabs on where all of that's gonna go. So we did mill finish on the extrusion itself, you know, with the stainless sheets on the trailer. But, you know, this is, look, if you're gonna be, you know, driving down, you know, dirt roads, live down a dirt road, you're gonna see a little bit more of that. You know, it's a little bit more forgiving than the actual stainless extrusion, where you have to worry about how to actually wash those trailers a little bit differently, because you don't want to burn that polish. In this instance here, I don't know, the look of the mill with the polished sheets, it does work really well together. I know we've built a lot of them for some customers. They absolutely love it. You know, it's again a little bit more forgiving than the polished stainless, and not as much maintenance on them. But again, it gives you a good look to the trailer itself, you know, really dressing it up. So I'm going to give you the stock number on this one. Again, it's a 2025 Cimarron Lonestar Air Ride 30-foot, 5N241194. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade, downsize, we can help you there. Financing is available and delivery, so we could potentially bring this to you once stock shows over and we get it out of the building. But we encourage and invite you to come visit us at the 2025 National Western Stock Show in Denver, Colorado. Come check out all the cool Cimarrons we've got. We'll have factory reps from Cimarron there. On the horse side of things, our conversion company, Outlaw Conversions, will have reps there. And again, our awesome staff will be there to help you out, walk you through all the trailers, show you all the options, potentially sell you one sitting there, what we have on the lot, or even build you a custom trailer. So sky's the limit. We can do whatever you want. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.